Hi everyone, so today I'm going to do a wrap up of the Rainbowthon readathon which I've just completed, participated in, and my to be read for the Biannual Bibliothon which is starting today. For the Rainbowthon you had to pick 6 books with the spines coinciding with the colours of the rainbow, so red, orange, yellow, green, blue and purple. I had to think about that then. For my red I chose Ketchup Clouds by Animal Picture, but I haven't read that, so I haven't done amazingly with the Rainbowthon, and I've read 2 of the books and a third of 2 others, so the red one is the one I haven't started. So the first one I read was Small Steps by Louis Sachar. I picked this one for my green and blue. It was sort of sitting on my bookshelf and it wasn't going to get read otherwise, so I thought, well, why not read it for this? It was alright. The second half was definitely better than the first half. In the first, there's this one character who I really, really hated, and I know hate is a strong word, but I hated him, and he featured less in the second half. That probably made it better. It focused on a relationship. Yeah, it was alright, wasn't great. Definitely not my favourite read, and I probably wouldn't read it again. The second book I read for my yellow spine was The Jungle Book by Rudyard Kipling. Again, this was alright. I think it wasn't what I was expecting. I was expecting a whole novel about Mowgli and the characters that feature in the Disney film, whereas only about half the book was about them. There were like 4 chapters. And then after that it went into short stories about other animals, and I'm not a huge fan of short stories. I like writing them, but I don't like reading them as much, especially when I'm not really expecting them. It was good, don't get me wrong. To say this was not well written is sacrilege. It is very well written. Rudyard Kipling is one of my favourite poets, so I can't really say, oh, it wasn't very well written at all. It was good, but it wasn't my favourite, but I think that's more my expectations meant I didn't enjoy it as much rather than it being a bad book. For my purple cover I chose a poetry book, and the one I chose was The World's Wife by Caroline Duffy. I'm about a third of the way through this, something like that. I've read 9 poems, I'm not sure how many there are in there. Some of the poems are a bit more ambiguous than I thought they'd be. That's probably why I haven't read as many. I really like them, I really like Caroline Duffy's work. I chose it because I thought it would be shorter than reading a novel. The idea behind this anthology is that she's written a collection of poems from the perspectives of the wives of famous people, so Aesop, Darwin, all sorts of people, and what it's like to be related to their husband basically. And yeah, it's a really good read. And finally, for the Rainbowthon, because I'm not going to show you Ketchup Clouds, is Regeneration by Pat Barker. This is my orange spine. I have to read this one for school, so I thought, well, if I start reading it now and get it read quicker, then that's one less book to read over summer. But I'm actually really enjoying this. I'm a third of the way through it. I only started it yesterday. It's about the hospital in World War I, Craiglockhart in Scotland, where people suffering from shell shock were sent to recuperate before they went back to the front. And it follows the story of one of the doctors there, Rivers, and several of the patients, but one of those is the famous poet Siegfried Sassoon. Also, Wilfred Owen has just made an appearance, and those two famously actually went there to that hospital during the First World War. And so it's kind of true, kind of fiction, and it's a really good read. It's not as depressing as I thought it would be. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Now I'm going to show you my to be read pile for the Biannual Bibliothon. There are 7 books in this pile, so that's quite ambitious considering I haven't even managed 3 full books this week. But I'm going to give it a try because some of them are short. So the first book I have is the book that they've challenged everyone to read, which is Paper Towns by John Green. Although I have already read this, and it's probably my favourite John Green book that I've actually read. I really did enjoy it. So I would happily reread this again, but I think this is going to be the one that I read last. The second book that they said to read is a book from your childhood, and the one I've chosen is The Butterfly Line by Michael Morpurgo. I read this in year 3, I think, so that was 9 years ago, and I fell in love with Michael Morpurgo's work. His books are just beautiful. There's no other way to describe them. Usually they feature animals. This one's obviously a lion. I've read Born to Run, which is about a greyhound, and so many others. I have like a huge collection of his books, and I will still read them now, even though they're children's books. But they're just beautiful and I just love them, and I can't actually wait to reread this one. It's really short, and the writing is huge, but the pictures are really cute in it as well. I would genuinely say to anyone, if you haven't read it, read it. Okay, the camera randomly cut off then. The third challenge is to read a companion book, a prequel or a novella. I don't read that many series, and although I want to begin to start reading some, I haven't got that many like companion novels or prequels. So I searched for famous novellas, and it turns out that On Chesil Beach by Ian McEwan is a novella, and I have this on my shelf waiting to be read, so I thought, well, I'd read this. It's about a couple in 1962 who are about to get married. It just looks like one of those really nice books to read that you can sit down and just enjoy. They're not too heavy, they're not too depressing, it's just a nice read. So I do look forward to reading this, and it's really thin, so it shan't take long. The fourth challenge is to read a book from the genre you've read least this year, and so the one I have picked is The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. I don't read fantasy novels much at all. I don't really like fantasy. I struggled to get into them. I read more when I was little, but I read less now. I'm much more into contemporary novels. I have had this on my shelf for so long. I did try to start reading it and I couldn't get into it. I've seen snippets of the films and they look quite good, and so I thought, well, I don't really read fantasy, so I'm going to give it a try. And I have the other 3 books somewhere in the house. I think my dad's read them or something, so I can always read those if I get into it. The fifth challenge is to read something you did not finish, and I'm kind of going to cheat for this because the Biannual Bibliothon starts today, whereas the Rainbowthon finishes today. So I'm going to read Regeneration for that because I don't really want to leave it unfinished, and technically I started it before the Bibliothon, and I will finish it because I really like it and I want to finish it. So that's for my 5th challenge. The 6th challenge is to read a book set in a different country, and for this one I've chosen Revolutionary Road by Richard Yates. I believe this is kind of about a relationship in an American society, and seeing as I live in the UK, then I can read books that are set in America. It looks really good. It looks quite an easy read actually. The writing is surprisingly large for what I expected it to be, and I've heard mixed reviews about it. I think it'll be just a nice read. The 6th challenge is to read a book about an issue that you're passionate about. For me, that's mental illness because it goes unnoticed and quite a lot of people judge it, don't really know anything about it. The book I've chosen for that, which arrived yesterday, is Finding Audrey by Sophie Kinsella. I believe this is about a girl with anxiety who doesn't really go out very much at all and hates seeing people, and then her brother's friend makes an appearance, and it's about him sort of drawing her out of her comfort zone. And I love hardbacks for some reason. I love holding them I like how to sit with them when I read. So I'm really excited to read this, and I promised myself I wasn't going to buy any more books, and then I bought 2 more. But that's all for my video today. I'll probably put another one up next week, which will continue from last week's video, which was showing you my to be read collection. If you're participating in the readathon, either the Rainbowthon or the Biannual Bibliothon, tell me down below and leave a link if you've either written a blog post or filmed a video of your to be reads or reading wrap-ups. Don't forget to like or comment, tell me what books you're reading, subscribe if you want, visit my blog, which I will also link down below, and I'll see you next time. Bye!